Part 1 of the functions presentation. Remember back to before when we had number machines and you had some sort of input. In this case we've chosen 3, and we've had some operations to perform on this and we get an output. So 3 times 5 and then plus 2 will give you 17. You also can work the function machine or the number machine backwards. So putting in 42 as the input, changing the order and reversing the number machine means that a plus 2 becomes minus 2 and the times 5 becomes divide by 5. So 42 subtract 2 is 40, divide by 5 is 8. So a way to think of number machines is that the bits in the middle, which is changing the input and then giving us a different output, is that the boxes in the middle are what is creating the rule. And the rule here is to multiply the input by 5 and then add 2. The rule can also be called the function. The functions are usually named f, but sometimes neighbouring letters like g and h. Let's consider this function without anything in the box there. We can still see the input, and the input this time is a letter, it's x. The function has been called the f function. The output will therefore be called a combination of this f and x, and it will therefore be called f of x. And we say f of x. The value of the output, so the value of the f of x for this function, if I show you that we're going to times by 3 and subtract 4, that means that putting an input of x in, multiplying it by 3 will give us 3x, and then subtract 4. So the value of the output will be 3x minus 4. So to describe all of this without the need for any diagram, we can just write f of x equals 3x minus 4. Some examples of how we use this now. These are substitution examples. Here we're given a function. This time it's saying if the function of x, if f of x equals 2x plus 3, what is the values of f of minus 1, f of 0, f of 1, and f of 2? So all we are doing is we're changing the x and substituting in the number each time. So substituting in minus 1 gives us 2 times negative 1 plus 3, and that works out at 1. Substituting 0 in for x gives us 2 times 0 plus 3, which is 3. Substituting 1 in place of x gives us 2 times 1 plus 3, which is 5. Substituting 2 in place of x gives us 2 2's plus 3, which is 7. Now these answers can also be plotted on a graph. And for this here, we should recognise that this is a straight line graph. And what we do is we look at the blue numbers and the red numbers, and they pair up, and these are our coordinates. Because the blue numbers are the x and the red numbers are the f of x, in which case it's on the y-axis. Sometimes we're given an equation problem to solve. Here we're told that f of x is equal to 10 minus 2x, and f of a equals 18. And we want to find the value of a. So you'll notice that we have f of a and f of x. So what's happening here is we have a function which is an input of x and the output is 10 minus 2x. Here we've got the same f function being used, but we've got a different input, which is a, and the output is 18. So the first step we need to do is write down what f of a looks like. So f of a is just the same as f of x, except we change the x into an a. And we're also told that f of a is 18 already, so since f of a is 10 minus 2a, and f of a is also equal to 18, then that means that 10 minus 2 is worth 18. Now that's just a simple equation to solve. Take away 10 from both sides and divide both sides by -2. And we get the answer a equals -4. Different type of equation to solve here. This time we're given if f of x equals x squared plus 5 and f of t equals 41. Find the values of t. Now values is highlighted there in bold because we're going to get more than one answer. So it's like before, f of x is that, and f of a is the same thing. Sorry, f of t is the same thing, just changing the x into t. And since f of t is equal to 41, we can then say, like before, that the t squared plus 5 is equal to 41. And then we just need to solve this equation. Take away 5 from both sides. And then here we've got t squared, so unsquare that, we square root. Now, we get positive 6, but also square root in 36 is -6 as well. And if you think about it, 6 times 6 is 36, but also -6 times -6 is 36. So this time we get two answers, plus or minus 6.